Hello. Welcome to the first episode of Nice Throw Gameplay.
Yay!
I'm Zach.
I'm Carson.
I'm Chris.
He's our special guest for today.
Carson, tell us what we're playing.
Today we're playing The Beginner's Guide. It is the newest game from the maker of The Stanley Parable, which is a personal favorite of mine.
From what I heard about this game, it's supposed to be an experience.
Yeah.
So let's cut the chatter and just get right into the experience.
All right.
Carson's at the helm. He's going to show us what's up.
Mm-hmm. The audio is on.
Oh, shoot. We forgot to save.
Oh, crap.
And I'll leave all this in.
Okay, so here we go.
Carson, our audio's on, right?
I believe so.
I hope.
Sweet.
Okay, those are some pretty complex controls.
All right.
I don't know how you
Let me
do
wait. I didn't have enough
Lost.
time to see it.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters
bit of an
these
overlay issue
colorful
there.
abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Do you want to adjust your mouse control sensitivity real quick? So that you're not... What's raw mouse?
I'm not certain. It's not a option that's present in a lot of games.
I've never seen that before.
That's what I mean.
Oh, shit.
What'd you do?
He backed out.
Quit.
Ah.
Just go to chapter select and then go to the Whisper. I guess is the name of his first game.
No, his first game was the Counter-Strike.
Well,
I'm leaving all of
proper
this
game.
in.
Should have been. Okay, wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Okay, so a white asylum room.
Whisper machine. Oh, what the?
Just thrown right into it.
Oh, all right.
This is interesting so far.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Well, I don't think you can go that way.
Or can you? Can you jump? Try space. Yeah.
No, there's not like enough space in
This looks like a space game. I'm sure it's full of space.
the room.
I hope I don't have to. I'm not using a mouse, so.
Sound effect reminds me of Diddy Kong Racing. That one.
Forgot that was the thing.
Yeah.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form.
Oh no.
Aliens, it is a space game.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
Maybe that it was complete, but
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
the vast emptiness. You know.
That's interesting.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh.
Wow.
I wish all game developers were
Okay,
like you.
this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it?
Wow, this is getting.
Could you give yourself?
This is getting heavy.
This game is a lot more intense than I was gonna give it credit for.
Would you kill yourself to save us
the
all?
world.
Well, I don't really have any personal investment in
You
my
can't
character,
just
so.
you can't just like throw the gun in there.
No, you have to have a heat
Let me
signature.
pause here for a
thing.
second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Wow.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh.
So you gotta go in and then it'll go in the beam and then it'll introduce the bug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
how did I fail that?
it's well,
it the bug?
Oh.
Well, yeah, the bug is that the
Oh, that's. Oh, you go to heaven.
beam. Hey, that's
There's
cooler than just
space.
dying.
Well,
The
Wait,
beam
look at the
causes you to
labyrinth.
start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
This is interesting so far.
This game was made the same month as his first proper game.
I can't move apparently.
There
Oh.
you go.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Okay.
Alright,
Oh.
then.
Oh wow, I love this.
Sounded a bit sarcastic.
It was a bit sarcastic.
This is.
I love it though, actually.
It's pretty interesting.
I think Carson would love it more if he was playing with a mouse instead of just using the
It's a short
trackpad.
and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative.
This is great.
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
This is really cool.
It is pretty interesting.
Glad I could share this experience with you guys.
Do you mean with us or the audience?
Both.
Okay. Wasn't sure if you were trying to be deep there or.
Oh, the future is always behind her. How will she find the strength?
Bum.
Oh, jeez. Where am I?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Wow, he really did pump these things out.
It's interesting. 'Cause We
Is
we
this
know.
Slender?
Oh my.
Look around.
That is the noise.
Well, it's the same,
You are now entering.
but that doesn't necessarily mean that this was a Slender bit.
Where are we entering? Is it the Twilight Zone?
Look around you.
Can you use the
Oh,
mouse?
oh.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay, narrator voice.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Huh.
It's interesting.
I'm really intrigued.
I'm actually, I'm really interested in finding out.
Whoa! I'm slow.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
So press enter.
Okay.
There you go.
You're really good at this, Carson.
All right. Just chill.
Sorry, he wasn't pressing enter. I'm not just being an asshole.
Wait.
Oh.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
That's my favorite already.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
That's deep.
Huh.
I feel like the commentary on this game is not going to be very insightful or interesting.
Well,
from
there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that we don't want to talk over, so naturally we're not going to be talking a super lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's already some pretty insightful commentary from the actual narrator of the games.
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of just
Along for the ride.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, none of us have played through this before.
I didn't
So
even know
we-
it existed until like a few hours ago.
Yeah, this is all completely new to us.
So I'm coming up on what looks like a door with a lever here.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Think you could solve it, Carson?
I don't know. Carson's not very
I
good
don't
at
know.
puzzle games.
I haven't been
so-
able to figure out how a keyboard works, so.
Try that handle thing. That switch.
Are you sure? Is that?
Oh,
Wow.
Wow, Carson, I'm impressed.
Huh. I like this puzzle thing.
Good thing it's not an amnesia puzzle. It would be here for like an
I,
hour or two.
Maybe I should jump.
Can you jump? You can jump.
Yeah, it didn't.
Oh. But there's another door.
But I can't get through that door.
Flip the switch.
You flip the switch from the other side. No.
Maybe I can.
Flip it and then go through.
Yeah.
There you go. Oh, but now you've trapped yourself.
Aha! But there's a level
Oh.
on this side.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're going to see it a lot.
There's a door behind you, wasn't there?
Is there?
Against that wall?
Maybe.
Like against the... Oh, no, that was just a weird triangle wall. Huh.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Huh. Oh.
Holy shit.
Language, Zachary.
That is cool.
So are those all paths that you can go?
How about that?
It looks
There was
that
more
way.
to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
Huh. Interesting.
Well, here we are again.
We're back at, yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to cut the first episode of Nice Throw Gameplay. We'll catch you guys in the next video.
Yeah.
Hope you liked what you saw and that you'll come back for more.
It was an experience.